It's your brother and Farme. All right. Tried to go live earlier, it didn't work, so now I got it moving. Let's get this going. Today's going to be a good day. This live is going to be pretty interesting. First, I want to start off with our greeting. Power to the people. Power to our people. Respect our people. I'm getting a little bit better position right here. You see me? See it every time. I actually wasn't going to make it to video today, but I actually had a lot of good vibes, and I also had a lot of good information and signs from our ancestors today. So I decided I was going to have to make a video and get everything in order. Today's video is actually about the land that we're attempting to buy, the land that I wanted in Alabama, and some other things that I've been seeing about ghost towns. Peace and respect out to you, Brother Ward. I want to talk about some of the things that I see a lot of people talking about, but not a lot of people getting a chance to do. So I'm going to start this video off with something that some of you may have seen, some of you may have not seen. And actually, it was just brought to my attention. And because it was brought to my attention, I wanted you guys to check it out, see what you thought, see if I was just getting it right or if I wasn't. The land that I actually wanted to buy is on the flyer, if you guys saw it. It's about 156 acres in Alabama, and it's rural wooded area. And anybody that knows anything about raw land knows why that's important, because wooded raw land, once you purchase it, has instantaneous value because the wooding and logging companies buy up the wood. Then they clear the land for you. You have raw land, and then you can actually build and develop on it. And we've already had the structure designed for a complete, sustainable, basically village. And the point of the village is very simple. It's to live, work, commune, and eat close enough to a big town in Alabama where if you wanted to, you can fly in, get drove in within 35 to 45 miles of the major city, not be too far removed, but be further enough removed from the city where developing a new infrastructure or a bigger compound is going to be real easy to do because there's no city ordinances, there's no building regulations or codes, there's no stipulations. And if you have enough people that even just hold a P.O. box or hold a reserve address there, they can vote and literally control almost the whole county. If we didn't like the sheriff, we could vote in a different sheriff. If we wanted to start our own sheriff, we could start our own sheriff. Anything like that. So I'll give you guys a minute while I prep this video, and I want you guys to share as much as you can, add anybody you want to. And this video actually isn't about something that's in Alabama. This is actually something that was just recently brought to my attention. And when I saw it, I thought it was real cool. So it's about 2 minutes. We'll watch it together, and you guys can see what I'm talking about.
Nestled in the majestic West Virginia hills, only 2.5 hours from D.C. sits Sugar Grove Station, a former Navy base with all the offerings of a live, work, play community. It has a front gatehouse to welcome visitors to the 122-acre property, which boasts more than 105 well-maintained buildings, including the former commissary, which can house a small market and gift shop. There's an administration building that formerly housed offices, conference rooms, a medical clinic, and a chapel. Built in 2013, the modern fire station has 6 bays and provides a dispatch area, kitchen, sleeping area, and classrooms. Sugar Grove has an inviting community center with dining area, kitchen, bar, and lounge. This property has a 3-story modern bachelor's quarters that contains 53 small suites, each with 2 bedrooms, shared kitchen, and bath. 106 residents can be accommodated in this building, complete with elevator, full food service kitchen, dining room, common community areas, and laundry facilities. There are numerous tree-lined streets within Sugar Grove Station and well-appointed residence housing. Other accommodations include 8 charming guest cabins and 2 mobile homes. You will also find a modern youth activity and child care center, including a large playground.
Now, I'm gonna trip you out on this. Now, that's what is built on roughly 120, I think 119 acres, right? And not all of it is used. Only a certain small portion of it is used. But there's 50 apartments that are 2-bedroom. That's 52 bedroom apartments that have just the same thing anything would have: bathroom, kitchen, room, living room, boom. Then it has 80 homes, actual physical houses, like 3-bedroom houses. And then it has 6 guest cabins that are on the water. Now, this is an Army base, and I don't know if you guys know that the Army has lost a lot of its budget in the last 4 years, and it's scheduled 4 years ago, at the end of Obama's term, to redact some of the size of the bases, and this is one of the first bases that they're closing. Now, this base is already up for auction, and it went to sale for $11 million, but the person couldn't fund it, lost the money, and then it went back to auction. It's now at less than half of that bid. Now, this is a complete done town. It has a rec center, it has a doctor's, a fire station, it has the houses, it has everything we would need if we wanted to start a fresh, brand new, black neighborhood, melanated community. Why that's important is because it's already a military tactically designed base. It's already structured for security, gated in, fenced in. You already saw a lot of the rooms. You saw a lot of the things like that. Now, what you guys might not have known is there's about 27 ghost towns that are just like that in America. They're not as built, they're not as new, but they're already existent, and they have infrastructure. So if you wanted to go start one, or if you wanted to go build something new, you could go do it. It doesn't take a lot. It take a couple $1 million. Now, just to put it in perspective, that's 1,000 people putting down $3,000 to own a house or unit. Now, the putting down of the money doesn't necessarily buy you one of the houses or an apartment. It would literally just purchase the land. Now, that's 10,000 people putting in $300, or you can keep going and going until it's smaller numbers. But the purpose of that is you guys would all communally buy it, and then you would have something to develop more of the houses, more of the infrastructure that you want. I showed you that to show you that original was only for sale for $900,000, right under $1 million. Now the bid, the highest bid when I called the realtor, is at $4 million. It's not a lot of money for something that's completely ready to go. They open the gate, give you the key, you move in, you could do whatever we want there. I've already looked at it. It has warehouses for growing food. It has locations for designing and developing. I've already talked to Brother Peter Brown about setting up a hemp infrastructure to actually manufacture hemp, different structures and different things like that. Now, the second part that's really important to that is the land that I'm trying to purchase, which was on the flyer if anybody saw it. The 156 acres in Alabama is 30 acres larger than this location. So you see what's possible on just 120 acres, and they're not even using all of the land. There's still like 20, 30, or 40 something acres that's actually outside of the compound, because the compound is in the center for defensive reasons. And then there's so many acres around it that they're not even using, that satellites used to sit on. So when I'm talking to you guys about how easy it is to buy land and build something, that is a complete finished facility that they just went to a location in the mountains, cut down the trees, and built something. And now it's for sale. And it literally shows you that it houses hundreds of people. At least 400 to 500 people can be on this base at one time. And the infrastructure is there for there to be jobs, medical, fire, health, security, education. There's a school there for children, adults, everything pretty much but a college. But you can pretty much make a college because you have the extra room. So when I talk to you guys about, donating and signing up and paying the $50 or $40 a month amongst everybody, you can see what I'm attempting to build is something like this that has more practical structure. And what I mean by practical structure is they put a unit there that only has 50 apartments and it's only 2 stories high. So if you built a 4-story high building, that instantly gave you 50 more units. That's 200 more people that you can fit in that same space vertically. Now you can do the same thing in another unit, condo, or co-op next door. But the difference is we could structure it so we have these things and literally grow our own food, farm, manufacture, and develop products and services, really small products and services that the community needs that literally sustains our community. And I'm talking about your soaps, your lotions, your paper products, small expendables like honey and general things like that that somebody has to produce and that we all have. Everybody has honey in one of their rooms, and it doesn't take a lot to manufacture a lot of honey. Now, there's all kinds of stuff that we also use that we really don't see the value in until somebody shows us how much money you can make off of it. Like if I said if we started an indoor peanut farm using hydroponics, right, growing peanuts, and we just sold peanut butter sells for $5 to $6 or $1 an ounce. So if you create 1,000,000 ounces of peanut butter and bottle and sell it, you literally just made $1,000,000. Boom. It's not that hard. It's really not. If you grow 1,000,000 pounds of fish and sell your fish for $2 or $3 a pound, you just made $3 million worth of fish. And it doesn't take a lot to grow a lot of tilapia, catfish, and stuff like that. It only takes 20 or 30 acres worth of farmland, and you would still, after that, have 120 plus acres to go build more sustainability, build more products, build more services. And I'm not talking about anything crazy like selling t-shirts at 1,000,000 t-shirts a month. I'm talking about stuff that has to be reused because people cook and use it, like coconut oil or vegetable oil, peanut butter, honey, the general things. Here's a real simple one. Nobody in this room probably but me and maybe a couple people that will see this after I start advertising this video grow their own bread. So we literally could just manufacture bread and ship bread out. That's it. Literally, you can sell 1,000,000 loaves of bread every couple of months and make $250,000 every few months making bread, selling fish, producing honey. So we would literally have our own jobs producing what we need to produce, as well as the options that we have for the people that work online in financial structures, credit restoration, marketing, sales, advertising. And you literally can set these contracts up because let's say we went to Sugar Grove Station. It already has everything that's there. You can instantly call a major bank or AT&T or anything and set up a customer service center where 50 to 60 people work and do the customer service for Bank of America, Wells Fargo, One United, whatever. It doesn't really matter. Sally Mae. And you can literally employ half the community in just the sales center or the customer service center. And I literally have experience doing those things, so I know how easy and how available it is if you have simple resources, the opportunity to develop and build these small things. But this is more so to show you guys that what I'm talking about in building a community is real simple. It's not super hard. It's not, people people think it's so advantageous to go build a community like nobody's ever just moved somewhere and built something new. And the sad thing about that is people go to places all the time and build new communities. It's nothing new. Look, this is literally, I'm going to show you again. This is literally a community that they built in the middle of nowhere and just cut down the trees and put a literal compound.
This is Sugar Grove Station, a former Navy base with all the offerings of a live, work, play community.
So, what you just saw was a gated community with acres and acres between the infrastructure and the front gate. So that means all that space isn't being used. You can develop more houses, put more stuff there, put more stores, you can put businesses. You saw its own water infrastructure, water tower, and then it generates everything that you need. Now, to get it off the grid, all we have to do is retrofit all of the houses with solar power. Boom, it's completely ready to go. It doesn't take anything.
It has a front gatehouse to welcome visitors to the 122-acre property, which boasts more than 105 well-maintained buildings, including the former commissary, which can house a small market and gift shop. There's an administration building that formerly housed offices, conference rooms, a medical clinic, and a chapel. Built in 2013, the modern fire station has 6 bays and provides a dispatch area, kitchen, sleeping area, and classrooms. Sugar Grove has an inviting community center with dining area, kitchen, bar, and lounge.
So now, the reason why I'm showing you guys this stuff is because it's really simple to start seeing something and then wrap your mind around how basic it's been. Brother Mark was just saying another thing you can produce if you can get the license is alcohol. You can produce rum, gin, anything from the byproducts of corn, sugar, molasses. You can actually make liquor from trees. A lot of people don't know that, but you can. It's really simple to make. There's a lot of little bitty products that have high resale that we can manufacture in a place like this. Now, my point in the land and the infrastructure is if we went and purchased these acreages right out here in Alabama, it doesn't take a lot to build that in the next 10 to 24 months, buying prefabricated homes just like they did. They didn't construct those homes. They bought prefabricated homes, improved them a little bit, put them on some land, and then built the housing structures around it. And what I mean by the structure is more so infrastructure, where they built the facilities, the communications, and the things like that. And that is stuff that we would have to build. But with 156 acres and being only 30 miles outside the main city of Birmingham, we're talking about spending a couple $100,000 for some land and building 50 to 60 to 70 homes and 4 to 5 200-unit apartments. That's literally 5 to 700 to 800 people that can fit in one small community. And all you do is become creative with how you build. Like I was saying, vertical instead of wide, smaller, tight-knit houses where they don't have community yards or their own backyards. They're closer knit so that they have community yards and gardens and parks, because we're already in a small area where we want to be a community. Now, with the business opportunities for things like this, here goes something really simple. If we literally just took that same idea, that same concept, and in that 50-person unit, we made it an elderly care or a care facility for the elderly in the black community that always get neglected, get mistreated in the white facilities, have horror stories. I've seen some of the worst things happen to people in care facilities, okay? So, if we just had a 50-unit elderly care facility that housed 100 elderly people, we literally could put 50 people to work and literally have state funding, federal, family, whatever, pay for them to employ jobs. That's 50 jobs out of the 500 people that would live there, right? So now I'm going to literally go through how I could create 500 jobs off the top of my head to show you how easy it is. That's 50 down, right? Now let's say we had 10 more people that had to clean up some of the facilities that we would have to have, which they have, let's say, 7 main facilities: a fire station, offices, a community center, a school, and then they had one kind of facility building, right? So I'm just going to use Sugar Grove as an example. 10 more people have a janitorial service that work rotated shifts. So that's 20 people employed working 3 to 4 nights a week. Boom. That is 70 people down out of 500. So we got 430 left, right? 30 people work in the fishery. Now the fishery is 10 acres. All they would have to do is monitor the fish, catch the fish, skin the fish, bag the fish. box the fish. It may even take 50 people. So now we're down to 390 or so, right? 380. Now, 80 more people need a job. I already told you we could do customer service, credit repair, online businesses, any type of production too for anybody that has a black product or service like manufacturing clothes, t-shirts, screen printing, anything like that. Let's say we get 10 people to do 8 different things of that nature. There's 80 more. Guess what? We're down to 200. Now here comes the real big one. We already talked about the production of goods and services that we sell. Here we go. Lotion, soap, paper products would literally employ 100 people if you had 2 big facilities that were 2,500 square feet apiece. That would take 2 acres of land each. Now we got 4 acres out of 156 occupied to employ 100 people. Go to any warehouse you want on the planet that does shipping, manufacturing, or distribution, and I guarantee you 50 to 300 people work there. But I'm just going to be conservative and say 100 people work at our facility, 50 at the night shift, 50 in the day shift. Boom. Now we're down to 100 jobs left. Here goes the crazy thing that'll blow your mind. There are houses, homes, daycare, facilities, schools, teachers, nurses, firemen, doctors, sheriffs, general, just community officials that have to help with the housing association. I literally guarantee there's going to be more than 100 jobs just doing those tasks. I literally just built in 10 minutes, or let me be more realistic because I don't want any of these trolls. In 21 minutes and 48 seconds, I literally just built you a black community, showed you how to do it for less than $500,000. I also showed you how I could create 500 jobs, being really realistic. I didn't create no super crazy jobs, or we're going to go sell space dust, or we're going to sell Bibles. I literally created need-based jobs, task-based jobs, life-based jobs that no matter where you go, you have to have these things. And it created and employed the 500 people that lived there and created jobs. Now, it might even create more income because we have the products that we're selling to the rest of the black community in the United States. The fish, the peanuts, the cooking oil. And I'm just talking about things that everybody has to use because they're things that are going to sell no matter who you sell them to. Walmart, Target, some supermarket, somebody's going to buy it if you undercut who's already selling it. So all we got to do is sell it for less than what they're buying it for, and they're going to buy it to save money. So boom, you just sell peanut butter, you sell cooking oil, you sell fish. It doesn't take a lot to make these things. It doesn't take a lot to produce these things. It takes almost close to no revenue in startup too for a lot of these businesses, especially if we already have the land and we're producing these things with our effort and our time with the expectation to make more money. Now, the last thing that I want to get to is we currently have a lot of business opportunities. We're trying to create a store in Memphis now. We're starting with the one with Louisiana. Now we have a store in Memphis that we're going to have up in the next 3 to 6 months. We are working with buyer and co-op options so you guys can buy products and services. We have a clothing line that's going to come out so you guys don't have to just keep donating. You guys can actually buy t-shirts, apparel, and wear some of the sayings that you hear me say, like power to the people, power to our people, respect our people, general stuff like that. I'm going to be writing the plan that I have into a book so that you guys can actually purchase the book, and 100% of the proceeds for the sale of the book are going to go towards purchasing the land. So if I just sell enough copies of the book, I'll buy the land myself and start building myself and just tell people if you're coming, you're coming. If not, you're not. It's okay. We're still going to keep building. Simple solutions change things for people. And I'm going to put this in a real perspective and get real close to the camera. Imagine if you had 156 acres of new houses, new homes, not no ghetto, jobs and opportunities. So when a brother in Chicago says they're killing everybody every week down here, rather than us saying just, work with the community or do what you need to do, you literally can say, why don't you come down here and help us build this community? Help us build this neighborhood. Help us live in a co-op. If you guys don't know what a co-op community is, you guys need to go on Google and look up co-ops. White people do them all the time when they want to get away from other white people that they feel are villains or crazy or ruining the world or whatever. A co-op is a community of people that live cooperatively. So they may grow their own food, they may develop their own infrastructure. And what do I mean by that? Well, if we produced fish, peanut butter, soap, and all these other things, right? And we knew that we were doing it for a living, well, we wouldn't have to buy those things any longer from the store. We make them. So if there's 500 of us per se, we just have to make 500 extra ones a month so that each one of us gets one of those things or whatever the production cycle is, right? So imagine if you never had to buy your fish or your chicken anymore, your eggs or light vegetables or food. You no longer had a food bill. And I'm not talking about selling these houses. I'm talking about us communally, cooperatively buying this land and developing these houses so you don't have a house bill. You don't have an electric bill because I already said we're going to convert it to solar power. There's no electricity bills. There's no anything but the hard work you have to put in to live here. That's it. Imagine if you had no food, no electric, no rent, no mortgage, and you were still making money because you worked a job and an opportunity with the black community that generated money because we were selling products, creating services, fulfilling needs, and generating income. How much money could you save then for when we wanted to go do this same thing? And the reason why we want to do it here first is so that we can then take it to the motherland once we have a country that invites us in to buy land. We don't want to ask for a handout. We don't want to say we're owed or give me. We want to buy land that's already for sale and ask them, can we stay permanently? Because now we can go to the motherland and reproduce what we've done in America there and then create manufacturing opportunities because we can manufacture and employ them at fractions of the cents of the dollars of what we have to work for legally. Our legal wage is $7 to $10 an hour. Their legal wage is $300 to $400 American dollars a month. So we literally, for the cost of making one pair of Jordans for Nike, could literally employ somebody for a month off of one pair of shoes. And we could get a contract if we go to Africa and manufacture cheaper than the Asians for a couple $1,000,000. That's nothing to them. But we as a community have to come together and do that. Now, what actually made me make this video today, because I said I wasn't going to do one until the turn of the new year, which is actually 5 days after the moon drops. I actually met a brother today whose name is also Infame, who is also building or trying to attempt to establish a nation in Africa, much similar in the same way that I was. And when we linked up, we actually said we should work together. Now, the likelihood of me meeting an American brother named Infame that's doing the same thing that I'm trying to do is a sign from my ancestors that said I had to tell people what was on my mind, because I've been sitting on that Sugar Grove Station thing for a while because I didn't want people to get excited about it, and then we work so hard to go what we are trying to do with. So what I mean by that is sometimes you get an idea that's so big, people try and rush to the idea, and when they can't accomplish it as fast as they thought, want to, or put in the energy to, they burn out. But with this, and I was just moving down the highway because the other facility that I had, and we made a video about it but didn't post it, the other farm that I already had, we lost. And I had to start over because we already had something that we were looking to buy that we lived on that was 100+ acres. So now, that was before I started to build and had a community of people supporting me. And that's kind of what led to it, is me saying if I had 100, 200 people behind me, we wouldn't have lost that farm. So now it's really simple to show people what we were attempting to do with two people's income and literally sitting here and doing the same thing. So we have a lot of people that are interested, that want to be involved, that want to get things going, that want to literally live in safe communities and build infrastructures for ourselves, our future, and our children. But I've never seen anybody like me put it as simple as I can put it so that you guys can see how realistic and easy this is in under 30 minutes. Because Einstein said it best, no matter if you like him or not, he said the smartest thing. If you can't explain it simply, even though it's complicated, you don't really understand it yourself. So it's simple. You build, develop, you manufacture staple, repurposed needs, things that have to be consumed. It's called consumable market. You have to make consumables for people to keep buying what you have as long as it's a quality product. And we can do that for the black community if we all literally take 1,500 people, donate every month $40 for a few months. We can buy, develop, manufacture, and build over a span of 24 months. We're talking about a 24-month plan, and have a whole community that looks better than Sugar Grove Station. Or we could purchase Sugar Grove Station with that same principle in 5 to 7 months if it doesn't get purchased. So it's really easy to do. We just have to make the effort to go and do it. So this is your brother Infame. I pretty much covered everything that was on the topic. We have a lot of business opportunities we're going to be releasing this year. We have a lot of housing opportunities we're going to be releasing this year. And I want you guys to know from me, my plan is to do this 100 to 150 acres at a time in the 5 or 6 states in the South I'm always talking about. Georgia, Mississippi, Memphis, or Tennessee, Louisiana, and Alabama. And if we can do this, I just showed you we could put 400 or 500 positive communities right outside their cities and build in these communities, in these country communities, and build our own Memphis, Chicago, LA, Detroit. We can do it real easy, and it doesn't take a lot. It takes a little application and 1,500 people paying a $40 a month tax into the GoFundMe or into my fund so that you can see this literally start to erect. And like I said, I was already doing it by myself for my people. So now that we're looking for the people to help do it, it should be so much easier. Because if I could originally purchase a farm with a little bit of savings and run out of money because I didn't have the help, now that I'm starting with the help and looking to build with the infrastructure of people, it's so much easier. It's so simple that it only took me 32 minutes to explain it to you. It's so easy a caveman can do it. I mean, it's really that simple. So let's build, let's develop, let's make this happen. And share this video as many times as you can. I want you guys to share this video to all your groups. I want you guys to share this video as much as you scream Black Power, as much as you talk about Black Power or power to the people. Share the video, because this is the real power to the people. This is the real infrastructure. This is us attempting to take a $40 a month plan with a small number of people and create facilities, infrastructure, towns, nationhood for us that's non-political, non-religious, non-biased, non-about a book. It's just about us, no matter where you come from, what background, Moor, Hebrew, Islamic, it doesn't matter. This is about us building for us. So support the movement. Check out our GoFundMe. And the GoFundMe, where I already have this plan, wrote out the economic plan on how we can do this and how we can reverse gentrify our own neighborhoods, is on the GoFundMe. So it's GoFundMe.com/BES Fund, FUND. So once again, that's GoFundMe.com/BES Fund. Now, I'm going to sit on the line for about a minute or two. I put my number out, and if you guys have any questions, call in, ask me whatever you want. I'll put you on speakerphone. And test me. I don't care if you have a hard question, if you think it's offensive. Go for the gusto. Go for the jugular. Be the devil's advocate. If you think that there's something wrong with what I'm saying, try me. The number is 256-640-3969. Once again, that's 256-640-3969. If you guys think you can challenge it, or if you guys see something wrong with it, give me a shot. Let me know what you think. And I appreciate everybody. If you don't call in, I appreciate everybody that tuned in, heard the information. A lot of you guys stayed from the beginning to the end. And it's you that make the difference in your community because you want real solutions. You want real problem solving and action. Because you can always address a problem with another problem. Like, how do we stop gangs? I don't know. If they stop killing each other, that's a problem with the problem. How do we stop gangs? Give them a job and they won't have time to be in the streets. See, that's a problem. That's a solution. And that's what we really need is solutions to address the problems, not problems answering more problems. So let's make this happen. So that number, if anybody wants to call in for the last 60 seconds, is 256 640 3969. And if nobody calls in, I appreciate you guys for listening. I know I give a lot of detailed information, so sometimes you guys don't have questions. But, sometimes just give me a holler and speak to me, and people know that you're watching and you're listening. I respect you all. Power to our people. Power to our people. Respect our people. And I'm out.